the Hampton Roads Realtors Association, and rain. So better late than never, Stacia. Better late than never. So we'll start over. No, I'm just kidding.
I had a busy day yesterday. I'm sorry.
And then I want to talk to. We don't have a whole bunch of new listings right now, but I know that we've got some listings coming up. And so for those of you who have listings coming up, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about those, and we'll just take it from there. So without any further ado, let's talk to Brian McCarty. How's business at Sage Title Group, my friend?
Business is unbelievable. It was another record year. So thank you very much, you and your group, your support, core partners with Dawn and John. Thank you so much. It was a record extreme year. So we were very blessed and humbled by last year's results. So we start a new year, right? So we're hoping to get back in person for the next meeting. And so I can bring some payday bars out to y'all. December was really good though, too. We had quite a few participants that I just want to give a shout out to. Todd Sims, Adrian Smith, Josh Gooden, Jason Gooden, Barbara Alexander, Eden, Sheena, Kelly, and Marvella. I don't know if I forgot anybody, but that was quite a good participation. The capture was really good. I got this sheet yesterday. It told me that we got, for the year, we finished at 74.31%. So that's really good. I mean, to get that, the goal is 50. So 74 is amazing. So thank you very much. We know we're only as good as our last closing. We get that. And so this year we're going to continue to offer CE courses. I did get an email from Matt who does our classes, and he says that they have to recertify him for CE. So the next class probably won't be until April, but it will be free, and then we'll do them every month from there. Also, I've got more folders on order. I don't know if y'all use these, but I should have those in shortly. And also the little mouse pad calendars. I don't know if they ever made it to your office last year. Yes, those. So they will be coming in. The order, they only let me order those for this year. This year we had to wait till January to order them. So as soon as they come in, I've got like 100 coming in. So I'll bring them over for y'all. But basically, new year, new beginnings. I wrote down a quote somebody sent me today. It said, "Stop being afraid of what could go wrong and start being excited about what could go right." So what can go right? A lot, right, this year. So I think it's going to be a great year, even though they said interest rates will tick up. I'm sure John will talk about that, but I still think that housing is going to be really amazing. So that's all I have. I'll be glad to take any questions, comments, criticisms on or off the air.
So I know that you guys recently made an addition to your team over there. How's that working out? Are you anticipating increased volume?
Yes. And Hannah Parker has joined us. She's been here a year. And, it takes about a year to go through every scenario, how you get those sellers that are, heirs, it just takes like time. And she was new to the industry, but she is very, very receptive. And I think she's going to you'll probably be seeing more of her in the play this year to help us. We look to grow again this year. So, so we're looking behind the scenes, sort of speak.
That's great. I think preparing for the future is fantastic. Yes. So, yeah. We appreciate it, Brian. Thank you very much for all that you guys are doing over there and keeping us plugged in and getting our deals closed. So it's important. Just real quickly, I want to see if anybody recognizes this person. So that's Brenda, your cards are here.
Yay!
Awesome. Congrats.
I'm so excited.
Very, very cool. Good stuff
They
right
were
there.
just delivered.
Yeah. So anytime you're in the neighborhood, stop in and grab your cards.
Okay, well, I'm always around, so.
How's John? I know that I got an email this morning saying that rates have ticked up. Are you seeing that in your world?
Yes, yeah. Good morning, everybody, or I guess good afternoon. Brian mentioned something about rates, and obviously you did do, Jason. It's something we're all keeping our eye on. I definitely want to cover that real quick, but a couple quick housekeeping things. So off to the races on 2022. It's hard to believe. I pre-approved someone yesterday. His birthday is February 22nd. I was like, man, this is your year. February 22nd, 2022. It's going to be a big one. So he's laughing. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys are having a good year so far. The paper planners, the 8x11 paper planners that we give out to agents are here. And if you asked for one, hopefully one was in your mailbox. If not, let us know. If you still want one, we may have some extras to give to you. We hope to reschedule our happy hour soon. I was looking forward to that. Jason came to my office and really talking about it. We just thought it was best just to push it back a little bit. Better safe than sorry. But we're looking forward to getting together soon and have a couple of drinks and just being together as a group. So, yeah, touching base on rates real quick. We've seen the Fed has continued to signal they want to tackle the inflation that we've been seeing all around us, gas, consumer products. The numbers came out today that I think it's consumer price index. One of the indexes, basic inflation, had gone up 7% in December, which is a very high rate. So what the Fed does is they're trying to walk this thin line of keeping their foot on the gas of the economy, but which was keeping interest rates low without having too much inflation, which really erodes the power of our dollar. So the way they do that is they're going to start tapering the purchasing of mortgage-backed securities. They're also going to increase the Fed rate and the Fed borrowing rate potentially a couple times this year. And what that does is it just slows down, takes the foot off the gas a little bit, pulls back a little bit on the federal injection of the money, and it creates a little higher interest rate environment, which should slow down inflation. And that's the goal. You don't want inflation to get overheated. So that's what they're trying to do. And overall, that's a good sign for the economy. You want to see that. We want to see the Fed increasing rates. We want to see the Fed tapering the purchase of mortgage-backed securities, because that means that the economy is getting stronger. And though it means rates are getting maybe a little higher, overall, it's a good thing for us in the real estate market, because it means people are, more confident in their purchasing, more confident in their job situation. People are, companies are growing, they're moving people throughout the country, which we really haven't seen throughout COVID. So that's really impacted relocation. So that it's overall a good thing. Now, with rates going up, obviously there's an impact to the buyer's purchasing power. And that's something that we need to kind of highlight when you're talking to someone who's on the fence of, okay, what does it mean if the rate changes? And how does that impact me? Especially if someone's saying, well, the prices are so high right now, I want to wait until the prices moderate and come back down a little bit, and maybe some more inventories on the market. Well, that's fine. Let's say that someone does wait and the prices do come down. Well, if rates go up, it negates all of that. It's actually, the rate has a much more higher impact on your payment than maybe a little bit on the loan amount or the sales price. That, for example, for a $400,000 loan, we were at 3% a couple weeks ago on a conventional. The principal and interest on a 30-year with a 3% rate is like $1,686, just the principal and interest payment. Okay, at 3.5%, it's like $1,796, and that at 4%, you're at like $1,909 on the same exact loan amount, just by the interest rate changing. So we're already kind of really, in the last couple of weeks, we went from 3 to 3.5% within a couple of weeks, which is a very swift increase. So you basically, for us in our sites. We're seeing that we actually, the last couple of days, we saw some pullback, some actually going rates come down a little bit, but I think 4% is in our future, around 4% most likely. And we need to know, we need to be able to explain to our clients what that means to them and their payment to a degree. You guys can always have them contact me with like specific questions on payment and stuff, but it's really, rates are still really low. We're still, between 3 and 3.5% on rates. That's for conventional. For government, we're a little bit lower than that. So rates are still really, really low, and it's a good time to purchase. I mean, quite frankly, but I just want to kind of hit on that real quick on rates. Now, a couple other things, and I'll pass it on to Jason. Fannie and Freddie came out last week and announced that they've decided to place some pretty high-end loan level pricing adjusters on second homes. Specifically second homes when you put down less than 30%, which most second homes, if you don't know, when you buy a second home, a vacation home, you can put down as little as 10%. Okay. Now, historically, rates have always been exactly the same on a second home purchase as they are on a primary home purchase, which makes them very attractive. And as opposed to investment, so you have three occupancy types. You got primary, secondary, vacation, and then you got investment. So really, what they're doing is they're going to group these two together, secondary and investment, pretty much just to be non-owner occupant kind of. Those rates are going to be pretty almost the same as an investment property. And the reasoning why they're doing that is they are trying to reduce the demand slightly on the second home market because it's eating up inventory that really, if you're trying to buy a primary residence, that's what they want properties available to purchase for people who want to buy as primary, opposed to one person owning multiple properties and maybe one person not owning any, right? So that's kind of, I think, their goal. I don't know how long it's going to last, but what that means is that if someone's buying a secondary home, let's say they're going to buy a place down in Outer Banks, for example, before the rate would have been, maybe the same as primary, maybe like low 3s, maybe 3.5, maybe. Now you're going to be up in the over 4%. So that's happening right now. We've already had that adjuster into our system. It's for all lenders, all conventional loans. So it's not just us, so I just want to kind of make you guys aware of that. So that'll have some impact on second homes. And also they put adjusters on the high balance conforming, which doesn't really impact us. We don't have a high balance limit in our area, but it could be places like in Richmond or in DC, Northern Virginia, where they have a high balance conforming loan level adjuster. So those are a couple things I want to note. Other than that, there is we're kicking off the year with a $10,000 closing guarantee, which basically means if we don't close a loan on time, we'll pay the seller $10,000. Now, there's lots and lots of fine print on this offer, so I'm hesitant to just blow it out there and say this is the best thing since sliced bread. But we're going to send out some information on it. But I think it's something that, especially in the spring market when we're trying to be competitive, it could be attractive if I'm the buyer to say, hey, if you go with us, our lender will pay you $10,000 if we don't close on time. Now, the caveats are that it can't be like a jumbo loan or a bond loan, meaning like the HDA. The biggest caveat is the buyer has to be basically approved prior to writing the contract to be what's called the Buyer's Advantage Program, which is submitting all the documentation to underwriting prior to even submitting an offer. Okay, and it has to be approved, and then there's other stipulations of when the appraisal has to come back. So again, when there's caveats like that, I just want to make sure you guys are aware that it's something that we're offering, and I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but I don't ever want to. I just want to be upfront with you guys as far as all the different stipulations, but it can help again. Especially in the spring market when maybe it's more competitive. So we'll send out some information on that, and that's going through January through June 30th. Something that we're trying to help people be a little more competitive in the market. Other than that, we're very caught up in processing Underwriting turn times are lower, so that's good. So everything is processing, and we're really trying to gear up for another strong spring. Seems like it's already starting to get busier now than it was last week. So hopefully you guys are seeing the same thing. But does anybody have any questions about anything I talked about or anything else in general on the lending side?
I do. So we're okay with the idea of writing 30-day closes then. So if we write an offer, we can propose to close in 30 days. You guys feel pretty confident you can get it underwritten and processed that quick?
Yeah. So I mean, the key is we would love to have 30 days from ratification, not from the initial offer date. I mean, that's ideally. Now that we're on the other side of the holidays, we still have Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That is, everyone should be closed. So that's the only day really that's going to be on Monday. So that really is not going to impact us. But obviously holidays we always have to keep in mind if people aren't working, so it's a day you lose in operations. But other than that, 30 days should be fine. But if you make an offer on a Wednesday, right, for 30 days, and you don't ratify until Monday, you've already lost that amount of time, 5 days. So that's 25 days that we have, though you submitted it with 30. So just keep that in mind. I mean, again, we're always going to try to make it happen. We get contracts all the time with less than 30, and we usually make it happen. But sometimes things are out of control, like with appraisal or needing a final inspection or title work. Sage is really good about rushing title work if we need to. So we'll do everything we can if it needs to happen. But I mean, usually again, 30, 35 days, 40 days, that's ideal. But every situation is different. So we get it if things need to move fast. But yes, we can do 30.
Cool. And great point, you raised about the interest rates. They have a much larger impact on the monthly payment than sometimes the sale price or the purchase price does. So I've heard it said that, for every $1,000 in price increase or additional loan amount, it might affect your payment by $4. And so interest rate has a much higher impact on your monthly payment. And so it's a good reminder for us as agents when we're talking with buyers who are concerned about the high prices today, that they should be equally or even more concerned about higher interest rates tomorrow. So good reminder there. And the Buyer's Advantage program is something that I've been talking about in my TGIFs now for a few weeks. I think it's really exciting. I can't wait to see the materials that Prosperity puts out with respect to the Buyer's Advantage program, because I think when you're in this hyper-competitive environment like the buyers are today, it's just one more tool in our tool belt that we can use to, strengthen our buyer's position. So I can't wait to see what we have, if they're going to do anything with social media, if they're going to put out flyers or information sheets. So I'm excited about the Buyer's Advantage program. So Brian, if John said something that made me think back about Sage, and I don't know if you guys have is there a standardized time frame for which you guys normally order title work? Because I know sometimes, like if it's a rush, obviously it's a rush and we got to get it done ASAP. But if it's if it's not going to close for 30, 40 days, how long does Sage wait before they begin that process?
Well, one thing I really like about Prosperity is that they send us the contract and the title order up front. A lot of these other lenders don't send us a title order, and that's typically when we open the title and search the title. So as soon as we get the title order, we'll go ahead and order the title. That's what we really need is what our corporate's telling us. We should order title when we get the title order. So the sooner we can get that and the contract, the case sheet and all that is great, but we'll go ahead and order it once we have the title order. So
that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that, that there's a request that comes from the mortgage company, because I know, for example, when we write an offer today, and if it's contingent on a home inspection that's not going to happen for 10 days, then we tell the mortgage company at the time, listen, we don't want to go ahead and order the appraisal yet, because we don't want our buyer to spend $550 or more for an appraisal if this thing falls apart at the home inspection. And so I didn't realize, though, that there was a caveat on the title side as well. So you're waiting for the lender then to request title from you guys. Is that?
That's how we operate here. Now, if it's a cash sale or something like that, obviously we'll go ahead and order it immediately, which I know we get requests like, can I close this in like 4 days for those? Seriously. I've got one right now that they gave us like 4 days to get it closed. So obviously we'd have to do the search then, but that's when we typically will open the title, when we have the title order. And Prosperity, I mean, it's so great because we can pick up the phone if we don't get the title order and call. And, John will get it done. So I think it's amazing that we did the volume, the whole industry did the volume last year. It was unbelievable. So this year, I feel that we're in a better position. And I think that there's going to be way more purchases this year rather than the refis. So we're going to be more focused, purchase. That's our bread and butter. That's everybody's, right? And so I think if you're not working with a lender other than Prosperity, shame on you. But if you are, have them please send us the title order so we can get the search going.
That's really good information. I'm glad we talked about that, John, Brian. Thank you guys very much. So that's a new wrinkle in my brain. So you guys know that story, right? For everything you learn, you get a new wrinkle.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a wives' tale or whatever. So, all right, gang, I'm going to jump into a screen share, and I thought that I would show you guys a little bit around rain. So I know some of you guys are familiar with rain, obviously, and some of you are not. And so I wanted to show you some things that you might find interesting. And so when you come into rain is our MLS. This is your login screen or your dashboard, if you will. And then you come in here to what they call Matrix. And so inside of Matrix is where we find access to all of the property listings. And so as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of hot links. But I just kind of wanted to draw your attention to a few things. For example, in this box, and you'll have to set this up on your own. You can display or not display any of these boxes. They're all little widgets. You can move them around, stuff like that. But I've got it set up the way that I like it. So you'll set yours up the way that you like it. But if you wanted to search a specific property, for example, you could type the address into these boxes here and do that. But what I wanted to show you guys was this section here where it says My Listings. And so it would really be helpful to us going into 2022 if we could, pay attention to, not that we haven't, but anytime you can get both sides of a transaction in the office, it's a huge deal for, the office production, the office volume. And so I think it's a win-win for everybody. And so one of the cool things that you can do is you can come in and check out these hot links. Like this one, for example, is My Office Active Listings, My Office Pending Listings, My Office Pending Sales. And so all of this information is available to you guys right on the dashboard of the MLS. And so obviously these are the only two listings for our office which are still considered active, meaning they're not pending yet. And this one, you can see there's a C here, which means that there is a contract or a contingency in place. And so it's properties are selling so fast that it's not uncommon to have a very short supply of active listings. But that's what it looks like. So when you come into Rain, you come into your dashboard, and then of course you'll have links here for your own personal stuff too. But the active listings for the office are a great resource for you when you've got a buyer who's looking in a particular area for some sort of a house. Start with the active office listings and see if there's not something there that might be worth showing. Because sometimes, when you go in and you do a general or broad search for properties, you may or may not notice right away that, oh, this one's in our office, or, oh, hey, this one's in our company. And so you can see down here, my firm, right? My firm is all of Long and Foster. And so we've got 7 offices in the 757. And you can see, obviously, there's a lot of these properties under contract. But as a company, as Long and Foster, we've got 103 active listings in the REIN MLS. And then it'll tell you, also how many pending, right? So we have 73 pending listings. We have 75 pending sales. So obviously a listing is when Long and Foster or you represent the seller. That's a listing. And then the sale is when Long and Foster and or you represent the buyer. And so they're broken up then into listings and sales. And so that's something that I wanted to share with you guys. Also over here, you're going to be able to create a series of your favorite searches. So you just create a basic search and then you save it to your desktop or your dashboard in this case. And so it's always here. And so sometimes, like for example, for a long time, I had people looking for anything inside Yorkshire Downs. Now this was a couple years ago. So I created a link then to search all of Yorkshire Downs whenever I click that link. So that's kind of cool. And then of course, you guys know that on my TGIFs recently, I've been sharing with you the Hampton Roads Market Watch. And so this is completely customizable. You can edit any and all criteria for the search that's here so that you don't have to search. You don't have to set up your Market Watch to look at all of Hampton Roads. It can be specific to a community, a zip code, or a region that you specialize in. So that at a glance, you can say, okay, in Western Branch, they listed 125 homes last week. And you can go directly to those 125 listings by clicking these hot links. And so it's a very, very valuable and powerful resource. And I think sometimes it goes underutilized and underappreciated. And so 518 homes came on the market, 625 homes came off the market in the last 7 days. So this is the kind of information, though, that you want to be familiar with, because when you're in a conversation or you're standing in line at the grocery store, well, do we do that anymore? I mean, they deliver groceries. You can just pull up to the door and they'll put them in your trunk. So maybe if you were pumping gas, we still have to do that ourselves. So maybe if you were pumping gas and the person next to you asks, how's the market? You can speak intelligently to that question. So good information there in and around REIN. So I also want to show you guys one more thing over here. See if I can get back over here to my email. So you guys, I think all got this email from Hurrah today. And so this again is another probably underutilized resource that we pay for. So obviously REIN is our MLS. There's a lot of tools and training that REIN puts out, but also Hurrah, the Hampton Roads Realtors Association, is what we all belong to. And so they do a lot of activities and events and things to help build the community, not just the realtor population, but the community at large. And so if you're the type of person who likes to be involved and likes to socialize, then there's a lot you can do in the Hurrah community. And they do the mini golf, or they do outings, they do public service days. And so there's a lot of things. They have kickball tournaments, they do softball tournaments, they have a chili cook-off. And so you can register for these events through Hurrah, the Hampton Roads Realtors Association. And so I just want you guys to be aware of, it's something I don't personally get involved in because, I'm not much of a socialite. But for those of you who are, I want you to know that you are paying for this, and it is, a perk or benefit to being part of this community. And so there's a lot of stuff going on that you could be involved in. You can join the committees and the boards that they have there. The masquerade ball is going to be awesome. I hope that we can all plan to go this year. It's going to be in March. So I am looking forward to that. And a couple of other things. So a couple times a year, we'll do something with them, but they have a lot of stuff, a lot of times a year. So feel free to engage, interact, get involved, and maybe join a committee or something and be part of the process. Especially if you're somebody that likes to complain a lot, you should definitely be involved. That way you can have some say so over what's going on in our community. And if you haven't noticed, I think my voice is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So I'm going to stop talking now. So you guys feel free to ad lib.
I'm gonna need you to
Somebody
keep
take
that
it
in your
away.
office. I'm going to need you to keep that in your office, please, sir.
My door's closed.
Thank you. I'm gonna spray it with the Lysol next time you come out the door.
I agree, Stacia. Let him keep
I'm a
that
s-
in the office.
I'm gonna spray it with the Lysol. Lavender scented, Debbie. If he comes home smelling like lavender, it's not with another girl. I just sprayed him with the Lysol.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like that.
I'm
I
not
can
Okay.
talk about my listings coming up.
Yes, that's where I was going, Kelly. Thank
he
you.
was trying to, but then he started coughing.
All right, well, I am listing a house on 304 Elmhurst Lane on Friday. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, about 1,400 square feet. It's been pretty much totally renovated. They've only had it for a year, but unfortunately her husband died of COVID, and so she's got to sell it. We're going to go in at 255, which I actually have an appraisal that was done in August. It's a really nice house. Like I said, the upstairs it has new heat and air, but the upstairs has window units. I'm also getting ready to list a house out in Cypress Creek, out on Glen Eagles. Awesome house, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. The original owners, they actually had the house built. They live over off of where the field is behind them, because they actually go camping in the farmer's field behind them sometimes. Probably going to go on the market for around 582-ish. It's a 3-car garage, like I said, stone, everything else, and that should go on the market on Monday, but they're actually in Kansas right now trying to find a house, and they might have found a new construction, so that one might move to February 1st. But I think it might go on the market on Monday. I've got 2 more coming up, but one's in Hampton, probably around the 250s. And I've got another one coming up in Mansfield Farm. I'm still not sure exactly how much that one's going to be, because Mansfield Farms is all over the place. And that's it.
That's a lot, Kelly. So thank you for that. That's a lot. Anybody else got something coming up they're looking for? Anybody got a buyer they're looking for? I happen to know about a property that's going to come on the market in North Hampton, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,472 square foot. It's a bit of a fixer upper. It's still got linoleum and carpet. The roof and HVAC were updated within the last 10 years. And it's going to be at the bargain price of just $185,000. And with any luck, we'll, see multiple offers and sell it for closer to 2. So pricing strategy, that's something we could talk about anytime. So, do you price it high? Do you price it low? Or do you price it just right? Now, this is the environment. It is a seller's market. And I think it's to every seller's advantage to try to collect multiple offers, because if the buyers are competing against each other, they're not competing against the seller. So that's one way to go about it. But then you have sellers who are like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to get, super duper high dollar. I want to list it super high because I think this market is aggressive enough to get it. And while that may be true, we have seen properties sitting on the market now for, a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks before those contracts actually end up coming in. So it's all about perspective. You know, we want to know what the options are. We want to present those options to the seller and let them make the final decision. So,
Jason.
hey,
Hi.
Sharon, I see your hand.
Yeah, my
is up.
hand is up. So I'm in the car. I'm actually in the car today. Well, hopefully not all day, but talking about buyers, I have 3 buyers I'm looking for. One is in the on the peninsula. If anybody knows of anything coming on the peninsula, price up to about $260. 3-4 bedroom, 2 bath, has to be a 2-story. Their child wants a 2-story house. So yeah, and the next one is I have a military family coming in from Japan, and they'll be needing something in March, and they're in the 3 to 350 range, somewhere in looking over in Suffolk, not deep Suffolk, but Suffolk area, maybe even Portsmouth, Chesapeake. He'll be at Oceana. And then the last one, I have a couple that's looking for a ranch home. Has to be a ranch home, has to be 4 bedrooms, has to be in some particular neighborhoods of Portsmouth and Chesapeake, and price point there, I don't think they have a price point. So, you know, 2,000 square foot, something like that, 2 to 2,500 probably is what they're looking for. So if anybody knows, if Kelly, I didn't catch all of what you were saying. So if any of that criteria matches yours, please let me know.
My Hampton ones are ranches, so that's not going to help you.
No.
But my Mansfield farm might. I've got to talk to them and see when they're going to list. We're having they're actually trying to go to Gloucester.
Okay.
And we're having a hard time in Gloucester too, but I'll get back with you, Sharon.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Thanks. Okay. Thank you. That's all, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. If,
I got a
that
question,
does it,
Jason.
let's go ahead and wrap it up. What's that, Barbara?
Anybody got any ideas on how to get a client to change their mind about renting? I did send that client that information that you sent me, Jason. I kind of like cropped out the things. I didn't want to send him anybody email address or anything, so company email address, but he got his loan approved, and then he went from wanting to buy to wanting to rent, and the actual amount that he sent me to look for houses for him to rent, which I have not, because I'm like, that's extra work. I already did my work for getting you helping you get to a lender to get approved for a loan. The rent amount that he's asking for is in the $1,600-1,700 range for renting, and so I'm kind of like, are there any ideas on how to kind of persuade them to, go through with their loan opposed to trying to rent after working hard with them on that?
Have you showed him any houses yet?
Well, actually, he wouldn't. He hasn't contacted me back after we got the loan approved. He wanted to actually just see houses for rent, and I'm just, I'm like, I just don't want to waste my time, honestly. I just feel like it's, going in a circle with that. And I don't want to jump on board with showing him rentals when, we got approved for a purchase.
Maybe you could, I don't know what you sent to him, but in a conversation, one of the things that is true is there's hardly any rentals available, and he's going to be competing for other people renting. They'll have 50 applications, 100 applications come in on one rental. And does he can he compete with that? Because that's worse than buying. The competition for buying is nothing close to renting.
Yeah.
It sounds like
I
sent him like, I'm sorry, I did send him like 3 rental houses, I think, but prior to sending the rentals, I had sent him like maybe 6 or 7 homes out, and this out on the peninsula side that was actually homes that he could look at for purchase. And I guess part of my concern was that he said he had actually looked at them when, we can get a message to show whether it was, they were actually viewed or not, but he did look at the rentals, but he didn't look at the homes that was for sale.
It
Barbara,
sounds like
I
he
have a
got scared
question.
or something.
Yeah, Barbara, this is Linda. Listen, why did he change his mind?
I can't answer that. I don't know. He just, other than saying that he wanted to wait, that was it. That was not a real reason, just saying he wanted to wait, you know, to get something, I guess, a bigger home than what he was.
I'd talk
approved
about
for.
interest rates going up and everything else if he's
Right.
eventually wanting to get a home. I'd put the spin on trying to saying, hey, why don't you look at homes? Because it's going to be just as hard, if not harder, to get a rental. So why
and you
not
might-
look at both? Or
Yeah, and I would send, you might want to send him the chart, buying versus renting, talk about the tax advantages, the write-offs.
I
that
was
he's going
looking
to
for that,
have,
Sharon. Yeah, I was
the
looking for that. I
equi- the
couldn't find it.
equity. Yeah, the equity that he's going to make, even if he only stays there a year with the way the houses are going up, then, and when you rent, it's money lost. I mean, you figure
Right.
$1,800 a month times a year, you've just dropped $24,000 for somebody
put that on
else's.
paper.
Yeah, I would definitely do charts and papers and talk to him about, you know, the sensible thing to do, you know, and yes, it's a scary process, because I agree with whoever said he's probably scared. But the sensible thing is to do this. The financial prudent thing to do is to do this. And I'm going to be here every step of the way, holding your hand, directing you, guiding you. And this is going to be an easy process. You're going to make it happen. And in the long run, you know, 3 to 5 years from now, when you walk away from that house selling it and putting $25,000 in your pocket, you're going to thank me. Okay?
Okay.
You're going to thank me
Okay.
for pushing you into this.
Okay.
So you might
Thank you.
want to have him talk to John, have that conversation,
Mhm.
rent versus buy. And he could do probably a pre-qualification, tell him what he's actually qualified to buy, and go from there. Just have that conversation.
Okay. Okay.
And you know
Thank
what?
you.
If none of that works, Barbara, you might still want to show him rentals, because maybe he's just afraid now, and next year his comfort level will be better. And if he can afford $1,800 in a rental, then you'll get a good sale next year. So
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, some
that's
people just don't
yeah.
want to buy, period. And you have to respect their wishes for whatever reason that they're not telling you. You still have to respect their wishes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Barbara, because it sounds like he has I'm scared, eek. You know, he sounds like he's afraid. And especially when I talk to my clients who are renters, and I'll say, so why are you afraid? What's going on? And I usually like talk to them, and they'll say, well, Miss Linda, you know, I don't have enough of this, or I really want a house that's 300,000 and I only got approved for 240, and they got a lot of, you know, shame, maybe embarrassment. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Good luck, everybody. Yay,
Let's wrap
yay,
it up.
2022.
Yay.
That's right. We'll see you next week. Thank you guys for
Happy
being here.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
All right.
See ya.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.